Hey, Wonderhussy here. Apologies for my rough appearance, but it's real early in the morning. I'm in Death Valley. I camped out last night, and I'm actually on my way up to hike Telescope Peak. So I wanted to get an early start. I left camp at before 8 a.m., which is real early for me. But along the way, I passed this historic mine camp, and I figured I couldn't pass that up without at least stopping to take a little look around. So according to the map, this is a place called Harrisburg. I actually did some research for once in my life. It was originally called Harrisberry, and it was named after two prospectors that, well, found gold here and worked this mine for years and years. Shorty Harris, who's one of the most legendary and well-known prospectors in all of Death Valley, and then this Basque guy named Pete Aguereberry. So I guess it was kind of a joint effort. They named the diggings or the town Harrisberry. Harris for Shorty Harris, Berry for Pete Aguereberry. But Harrisberry, well, it sounds kind of like Dingleberry. I don't know. People just started calling it Harrisburg. I guess some accused Shorty Harris of doing that, but who knows? I'm not here to get involved in 1905 intrigue. I'm just here to explore old history. And this place, well, from what I saw online, apparently Shorty Harris kind of, I think it was a joint discovery, but Shorty Harris kind of bailed after a few years. From what I read online, he had sort of a short attention span. He's a really interesting character. I mean, the stuff I read about him, he was very colorful. But he didn't end up staying here as long as Pete Aguereberry, who worked this mine for 40 years. He lived here until 1945. So if you ask me, it's really more about Pete Aguereberry at this site. And in fact, I have another site pinned somewhere right around here called Aguereberry Camp, where I think there's still like 3 or 4 cabins left where he lived. So that's what I really want to check out. But the first place I came to here is the mine site. Okay, this is the mine that, well, Pete Aguereberry, and there he is, worked. It's called the Eureka Mine, according to this sign, and it said he was mining gold, and it sustained him up here for 40 years. Historians estimate he extracted about $175,000 worth of gold, which was then valued at $20 per ounce during his lifetime. Oh, it says they close the mine every now and then because, well, this is interesting for 2 reasons. It's really interesting. They closed this mine down to protect bats, I guess, when bats are hibernating in the winter. They don't want people disturbing them. So that's cool that they care about the bats, A. But B, what's really cool is, apparently they let you just go in this mine. It says, at times the mine is closed for the protection of bats. When the mine is open, use caution while exploring. Take 2 flashlights. 1 for use, 1 for backup. I can't believe there's a mine in Death Valley that they let you go inside. That's pretty progressive for Death Valley. So I've got my headlamp on here. I'm not going to go in too deep because I still got to make it to the top of Telescope Peak and find some place to camp tonight. And it's friggin' November 24th and it gets dark real early, so I don't have a lot of daylight to work with. So let's just blow through this Eureka mine site and this cashier mill real quick and see what we can see. Okay, so first let's walk over here and check out the old mill. Man, it is beautiful out here. Look at the sky, man. What a friggin' gorgeous day. Clear blue, not a cloud in sight anywhere. And listen. It's so friggin' quiet up here. I love it. This is a pretty remote part of Death Valley. It's, I don't know, it's not like Badwater Basin where everybody goes. You gotta be a real weirdo to come up here. Okay, here's the ruins of the old cashier mill. Doesn't look like tons left behind. I mean, pretty standard for an abandoned desert mill. If Larry was here, my friend Larry loves mills, he'd probably love this, but you know, to me, it's just another mill, another day. It's cool if you look all the way up at the top of the hill, though. See, like, all those stone walls up there? I guess you can hike up there. Looks like there's a little trail. Might as well do it. Whew. All right, so I climbed all the way up to the top of this little hill here, and it's actually really cool because it gives you an overview of the whole site. Look at this. Okay, apologies, the sun is right there, but we're at the very top of the mill. All the way up at the top of this thing, looking down. It's graded off now for safety. All right, well, this is all pretty cool. And I think there is another mine at it over by where I parked the car down there that we can go in. That's why I have my headlamp on. But to be honest, I'm personally not much for old mining records. It's, you know, you've seen one, you've seen them all. I want to see his cabin and where he lived and like try to figure out about his life, you know? And I saw some pictures online. I did some pretty extensive Googling, Google Earthing, and it looks like there's cabins you can visit. So keep on hiking up here. I mean, it stands to reason that his camp where he lived would have been pretty close to the mine that he worked. So got to be within walking distance. Let's go all the way to the top and see what we see. Oh, wow, look. Well, first of all, look how desolate this valley is. You can see that RV or whatever it is way in the distance. Cruising along. And then there, in the side of that hill, you can see another kind of little adit. But where the heck was his camp? Let's keep going up to the very top. Oh, look! There it is. There's his little camp. Okay, now I'm fired up. That's my kind of thing. Let's get down off this mountain and go poke around. Okay, in the interest of time, I'm just going to drive over to his camp, even though it's not that far to walk. But before we do that, let's check out this mine adit real quick, because it looks like, well, it looks like there's some pretty interesting stuff here. Oh, look at this old bucket. That's funny. I don't know why. It's just an old bucket, but this looks kind of picturesque there by that tumbleweed. And then look here, the old rails. Wow, he even had his own little railway. Must have been a pretty good sized mine. Well, they said he got $175,000 worth of gold out of it. Oh man, the mine's gated off. I guess it's bat hibernation season. But I mean, to be honest, this gate doesn't look like it ever opens. So I'm not sure what that sign meant, but look through. Oh, look at that. Well, you know what though? I mean, to be honest, there's never really anything left in those old mine edits anyways. If you want to see a mine explorer video, watch the one I did of the War Eagle mine. That one, I went down 5 levels and found some stuff. And I'm okay just continuing on to Aguereberry's camp. Okay, they actually have the road blocked off, so you can't drive directly to his little camp. Which is cool, because well, even though it's a very short walk, at least maybe it keeps a few vandals away. Okay, wow, look how cool his little encampment was. This was where Pete Aguereberry lived and worked this mine for 40 years. Oh, it looks like there's an informational sign that'll tell us a little bit. Oh, so basically it just tells you where you are in relation to the mine and the mill, which we already went to. And then there's a picture of him. Oh, look how cute he was. He was Basque. Born in France, 1874. For most of his 4 decades here, he worked this mine by himself. God, he must have been so lonely. Oh, and it says here too, Shorty Harris and his greenhorn partner discovered it in 1905. Okay, so I guess Aguereberry was a greenhorn, and that's how come, Shorty Harris got the town named after himself. Fair enough. Look how cute he was, though. Aww, I mean, I don't know if he was lonely living out here or what, but he looked pretty happy. Oh, look, and he's standing in front of a house that is probably one of these houses that are still standing here today. Wow. Okay, well, I actually did do some research into this guy, Aguereberry, and he was, well, like the sign said, he was born in France in 1874, but he was Basque. Well, I talked about this in another video. The Basque people, it's like a separate ethnic identity, and it's actually very hotly politically contested. They're trying to break away and get their own homeland, but it's sort of between France and Spain, I think, is where the Basque territory is. Well, for whatever reason, a lot of Basque people emigrated from that region to this region, to, well, Nevada in particular, and also Eastern California, like in the Sierras. A lot of them came out here and were shepherds. In fact, I made a very interesting video where I found some Basque shepherds pornographic tree carvings up in this aspen grove in the Eastern Sierra. Check that out if you're into that kind of stuff. I thought it was really interesting. But yeah, I've had this weird fascination with Basque people just because there's so many of them here, and they have like a really tight-knit ethnic identity. And what's really interesting to me about them is their language. Their language doesn't belong to any other language group. It's like its own weird little branch on the linguistic tree. I think Basque, Finnish, and Hungarian are all three, I think, related and unrelated to any other language. It's really weird and interesting. If you're into linguistics, look into it. It's fascinating. Well, if you're into linguistics, you probably already know that. Anyways, I'm just really fascinated by the whole, like, the story of the Basque people. And so finding out that this guy was Basque was pretty interesting. So according to Wikipedia, he wanted to emigrate to the United States because he read in the newspaper back in France about the gold mining boom, and he wanted to go strike out and get rich. You know, that's what everybody, think about it. If you were a young guy back then with no prospects, like from a humble family, all you had to do was come to America because there was all this land here for the taking and gold here for the taking. I mean, all you had to do was kill a few Indians to get it, but who cares about that? I mean, times have definitely changed. It's a lot harder for a person from humble beginnings to strike out and make a name for himself. But anyway, enough philosophizing. Let's poke around these buildings. Okay, so it looks like we have 3 buildings to explore here. This little cabin, then this sort of almost looks like a storefront here, and then there's another little like shed or cabin there. And then way off in the distance there's a busted old car, and we'll be sure to check that out too, because I know how you car guys are. You like to see your rusted old cars. But we'll go in door number 1 first, okay? What's behind door number 1? Well, it's a pretty ramshackly little cabin, and it's funny because it has like a false front making it look like it's square, but it's actually kind of like an A-frame. Corrugated tin roof. Let's see. Oh, wow, this is... it's kind of sad when you know the history of the person who lived here and worked it and saw a picture of him. I almost feel like I'm trespassing. Oh my gosh, look how tiny this little cabin is. Aw, home sweet home. Oh, yay. Maybe not the sweet part. But it was a little kitchen in here. Look at this. Holy crike. Look how cool this old stove is. Coleman range. Is that the same as like the Coleman camp stoves from today? Instant gas from gasoline. A gasoline-powered stove? Oh, yikers, look. There's a master generator and an oven generator. And then there's the gas can, I guess, to keep it fired up. Dang, a gasoline-powered stove. That's intense. And oven. I wonder if the fridge is gasoline-powered. Doesn't have a name on it. No, just a fridge. How cute, though, this little miner living out here. There's his own little kitchen. And look at that, only 1 bullet hole. It's a miracle. Okay, let's go check out the back room. Oh, wow, look at the stair. It even still has a little bit of linoleum on it. I mean, it's just a concrete stair, but they put linoleum on to be fancy. Even these old-time miners wanted some comforts of home. Holy crike, so this was the bedroom, I guess. 1 little window up there. Kind of feels like you're in a tough shed in someone's backyard. Just a table and a bed, if you want to call that a bed. I'm sure it had a mattress back then. Oh, but wow, yikes, there was even carpeting in here. Holy cannoli. Some really funky yellowish green shag, which was probably not too bad back then. Okay, wow, that's pretty interesting, but let's go back outside and see what's in... Let's see what's behind door number 2. We'll go into this building. Now, this looks fancy. I wonder if this was Aguereberry's house. I mean, it was his camp. I mean, look at this. There's actually wood doors. The house is actually framed out. Multiple rooms. Really fancy linoleum. This is like one of those linoleum rugs. They used to make carpets out of linoleum for these mine camps. I saw a really cool, well-preserved one in Ryan Camp, which is a perfectly historically preserved mining camp in Death Valley. Yeah, instead of getting a woven rug, you just got these linoleum rugs. Wow, look at this pattern. Oh, yikes. I think we're in the bathroom now because, well, there was the toilet. This was the little commode closet. It was plumbed. And then over here, they had a shower. Man, he was a civilized miner. Aw, look how cute. Little Pete Aguereberry took his shower in there every morning. Okay, I don't want to be scattershot in here. But, oh wow, look at the wood floor. It's so nice. So we came into this main room here through the front door. Try to focus for a minute. And there's 1, 2, 3 rooms ahead of us. So that room there to the left we just went in. That was the bathroom. Let's go in this middle room. Oh, something's dripping. Water in the desert. What? Oh, wow. It's condensation melting off the roof. Yeah, my car said it was 36 degrees here. So I guess probably got frosted here last night. Anyways, back into this room. This looks like it was probably just a little bedroom. Nothing really left in it. And same over here, another little bedroom with another awesome linoleum rug. But yeah, not much left to tell us anything about Pete Aguereberry or his tastes or interests, you know? I wonder if he hid anything under the floorboards. Find his stash of nudie mags. Actually, I don't even know if they had nudie mags back then. He died in 1945, so he was living up here working in the 20s and 30s. He probably had other things on his mind. But that's like a really solidly constructed house. That's pretty nice. What was the chimney? You would definitely want a chimney out here as cold as it is. Let me go back inside real quick. I'll go in here through the bathroom door. There's a front door to the house in the bathroom. Oh yeah, we missed the sink and the water heater. Cute. But yeah, I don't see... Oh, I see. This must be where the fireplace was. Okay, third building. We'll check this out real quick. This one looks... Ooh, this one looks pretty rough. Maybe this is where he made his greenhorn helper live. You know, after he got taken advantage of by Shorty Harris, he went and did the same thing to whoever worked for him. Oh, wow. Yeah, it looks like a bunkhouse of sorts. Some guy slept on this bed here, kept his little effects on that tiny little vanity. One room affair. There was the fridge. Oh, wow. Look at that. Even had little ice cube trays. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, this to me, let me back up into the corner, give you a view. It looks like some little miner lived in here. Oh, wow. Look at this back room. This looks like it was more recently added on, but I don't know what I mean by recent. And then did somebody live back here? Because yikes. It's like a low... Talk about being in a tough shed. This literally feels like a tough shed. Wow. The little doors are so short. I mean, I'm only 5'3", and my hat is rubbing against the top of this. I mean, look how short this door is. I'm taller than the door. It's like being in a midget house. Oh, wow, look. Like little remnants of curtains that were in here. Aww. I always think it's cute when you see these little homey touches. Because, I mean, I'm assuming no women lived out here. It was just dudes. A sausage fest. But it's cute when you see these rough and tumble miners even going through the trouble to hang up curtains or put in colorful linoleum on their stairs. Wow, what a cool little camp. Oh, and then I don't know if you can see there's that tree, dead tree trunk there in the middle. Must have been a beautiful shade tree in the... Actually, what a cool setup. So I'm assuming, let's just guess that Aguereberry lived in the middle house, and then he had one or two hired hands living in this shed, and one or two guys living there. So there's like 4 or 5 guys living out here. They had a big shade tree, probably like a communal little courtyard area in the middle where they could hang out and have a beer after work. Doesn't actually sound too bad, you know? There's no nagging women around, complaining, trying to get you to wash your feet. It's basically just like being a Huckleberry Finn for your entire life. What could be better? Okay, so I think this might be the path that they walked every day to go work the mine. Because, look, it's a trail, and it leads... it leads to where that busted car is. And then if you continue along, I think it'll curve to the right alongside this mountain to the other side where the mine adits were. So this is the commute they would have taken, just like the Seven Dwarfs. Hi-ho, it's off to work we go. Remember, the Seven Dwarfs were miners. It'd be funny to do an updated version of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, but set it in Death Valley mine country. Oh, wow, now I want to do that. Of course, I'll play Snow White, and then I just need to find 7 shrunken little guys to play the dwarfs. If you're interested in auditioning for the role of dwarf in my production of Snow White in Death Valley, send me your headshot and your resume, and I'll let you know. Okay, here's this busted old car. What do you guys know about this? I mean, to me, and I don't know really much about cars at all, but the lines of it look very... I mean, that looks old, like 30s, like a Packard or something. Let's see, go around the front. Does that tell you guys anything about what it was? So cool. Oh, look, it was a straight 8. I know that much, thanks to Larry, because isn't that where the pistons were? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Uh-huh. See, I guess I am learning a few things from hanging out with Larry. Huh, well, what do you guys think? There's no emblems or anything. Oh, let's check in the dashboard real quick. Oh, wow, look inside. I mean, the back seat, totally trashed. No action going on back there, but look in the front seat. I mean, it's trashed as well, but it's kind of cool. You can still see little bits of chrome. Full speed ahead! We're gonna crash right into that mine shaft. Okay, walking back down the trail towards the camp, just like the guys would have done after a long day working in the mine. Just like the Seven Dwarfs. Imagine their surprise if they got back to camp one day and found it all tidied up and clean and a hot meal waiting on the table. You know, like in Snow White, isn't that what happens? She comes into their house while they're out working the mine, and it's all like, well, it's a bachelor pad, so it's all dirty. So she tidies it all up. Remember that movie? Whistle while you work. Do 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 do. Well, we could shoot my remake of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs right here at Aguereberry Camp, now that I think about it. I mean, that could be the plot. A nosy YouTuber is poking around an old mine camp, and for whatever reason, it gets dark, whatever, I need a place to stay for the night. So I clean it up, and I cook a meal, and then these 7 miners all come home. Wait a minute. I don't know, man. I think times have changed, and this is actually scripting out to be more of an adult movie than a kid's movie. Anyway, I'm really glad I stopped here at this little camp. This was cool. I mean, there's just enough stuff left behind to give you a feeling for how the guys lived here and sort of, you know, put together a story of what life was like here. Really a cool place, and it wasn't that hard to get to. Apparently it's, well, I mean, there's a friggin' official park sign out front. It's an official attraction at Death Valley, so if you're coming out to Death Valley and you're into old mining history, you can check this one out pretty easily.